and then went on to film Viva La Bam and the Jackass stuff. He
I was such a big fan of everything you guys did in that whole world and that whole crew.
which is why you have a therapist today.
Yeah, almost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I
that's
got
right.
the world industries here.
Yeah,
and all
Rodney
that.
Mullen, totally.
My friend actually did that one.
Oh yeah. Hannah.
But yeah, no, it's I think like hearing everything is super powerful and inspirational too, coming from people you revere and respect and all that. So I think it's a very amazing thing you guys are doing by being so open about it and sharing your stories.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of timing and alignment just kind of met at the perfect opportunity where we were just some young, vulnerable kids and stumbled across the video camera, and Bam just totally capitalized off that and filmed everything. And so we, from a young age, being skaters and just kind of defiant and didn't care and did anything for a laugh and just happened to have a camera. So it allowed us to be very, again, transparent, and that carried on over.
Yep.
So I write these 12 chapters, and then I'm still in hell. I'm drinking like crazy. I'm doing blow. The only reason why I got hired to be on Viva La Bam is because they had already had the cast, right? Like they had already had the cast set. And then Bam offers me this invite out of Baltimore. And I'm like this weird homeless kid who was on heroin in Baltimore that no one really knew. But Bam and I were like best friends at one point prior to this, just from skateboarding. But, Dunn, Rab, Deco, Rake, they didn't really know me. Like I was Bam's guy.
Okay.
And then one day I just show up on set and I'm like this weird guy that doesn't really fit the mold of what they have going on. But Bam's totally like, he's going to live with me. And there was some like reluctance to I guess, bring me into the inner circle, which was cool. I totally get that. And as time goes on, I kind of start to find my rhythm and in my own way. And then I'm good. But, the producers, they don't want to bring another guy on. They already have like the set crew. And I don't really, it's just weird to them. So, but now Bam insists that I'm in all these shots and I'm his best friend and I live with him. So I fitting that mold of just a drug addict from Baltimore who didn't have much going on. Now Bam kind of calls me his walking TV, and I'm just known for being like outlandish, ridiculous. I'm naked most of the time. I'm just doing shit that no one wants any part of. And the producers and two names I'm just thinking and laughing about were so fed up with me. They were so fed up. And finally, they couldn't control me because I wasn't on payroll. Right? I wasn't their employee, so they couldn't tell me what to do. Bam was my boss who let me do anything and loved the craziest shit I did. Yeah. He loved more. So finally one day they're like, look, Novak, come on, we have to talk. It's just normal. I mean, I remember one scene, we're all out back and I have like these jeans on, but the ass and the crotch are cut out, and I don't have underwear on, and I have these biker boots on, and I have they cut my hair, so it's like just the top part is skin ball, but all long one length. Yeah. And I'm supposed to walk out and serve them lemonade on the deck, but I have a skateboard that's covering like my dick. And at that point, the producer, she legit quit for the day. So now Viacom's calling, and she's like, I never should ever experience this. And she's like at the top of the food chain.
How do you explain that?
Absolutely disgusted, to say the least. She leaves. So the next day they come, they're like, all right, Novak, since we clearly know that we cannot control you, what we're going to do is we're going to offer you a job. We're going to put you on payroll, but then you have to listen to us. So it was a power, it was a strategic play that worked. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And I went from making nothing, a homeless like heroin addict, to then getting paid, I think it was $4 or $5 grand a week at that point.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
You tell me what to do and I'm there. You want me to make sure they fucking behave? I'm Johnny.
You're like, I'm doing this for free.
So real quick, just to finish that story, I get really off track. Sorry.
No, I love it.
Then after I give this to Bam, like a year later, I'm like, yo, I think I'm done. this book because I always write. I started sniffing a lot of blow and drinking wine, and I really liked to write at that time. It made me very descriptive, and I got really into the process.
I feel like that would help a lot.
Yeah, it did, until it like got weird, and then I got paranoid and couldn't write and thought like police were gonna buzz, just crazy shit.
Right.
But like a year into it, I'm like, yo, I think I'm done. And he opens up, he's like, this is actually like really good. So he then calls Joe Franz and says, you have to be his co-author. And Franz is like, dude, please don't give me that position. Like, because my behavior was really erratic and I was like out of my mind and no one wanted to have to like work with me. But Franz, Bam's like, you have to do it. You have to. And then he called his manager, which at the time was Terry Hardy. And Terry Hardy reached out to some literary agents and got me a literary agent, which then, so Franz took my 12 chapters, typed it up, laptop. He's like, got letters in front and behind his name. He's like a really intelligent, he was a professor at one point. So he turned that into like a manuscript and 23 chapters. Then we fucking got it optioned and someone bought it and it did like crazy well. Recently it was revised in its 12th edition.
That's amazing.
Most books that come out don't make it past their first.
Yeah.
So it's like a big deal in the literary world.
That's awesome, incredible.
Man. Congratulations, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys, you know, were a cooler, more rebellious Mr. Beast, right? Like before Mr. Beast, in terms of that group mentality, filming everything, like you said, and doing all that. Do you think that...
You know, it's funny. I didn't know anything about Mr. Beast. And I'm going to stick to the anonymity here. But I have... I've recently helped someone who personally, you know, in my world of recovery, who did all that, who created that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which was like...
Wow.
He's like, you ever heard of? And I'm like, no, what the fuck's that? And so that's on, yeah.
No,
really
that's amazing.
And I had no idea I still really don't know much about it.
I think that's the great part about that world too, is, you know, you pay everything forward and you don't even know who you're going to help next, but you do it.
Yeah.
Right? And like Robert Downey had that great speech about Mel Gibson and how Mel helped him. And then
just
he
like
would
you
help
said in
Mel.
the beginning, you know, like depending on what you see from somebody, if they can do it in a way that you find is appealing enough, then maybe it will transmit.
Yep.
If God forbid you fall into a place of hard times.
Yeah, and they were doing it on stage in front of everyone. You know, Robert was doing it as his acceptance speech. Well, Mel was like drunk on the side, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like that was such a crazy moment, but like so meaningful. And like, I think just helping other people is huge. But the Mr. Beast comment, I feel like you guys just inspired an entire generation, right? And even the form of filmmaking kind of revolutionized the industry too. And YouTube, which would become the biggest platform. Like it was kind of YouTube before YouTube, right?
I do hear that
a
lot. I'm sure Bam hears it like a billion times more, but it's the equivalent, I think, now. Like you see these new YouTubers or rappers that aren't even that big as some of like the legendary names. Yeah. And the legendaries are like fucking trying to figure out how they're going to like come up with money to pay for whatever. And you get these guys who are getting views and just like burning $100 bills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. That no one really even knows who they are.
Right.
So that's got to be a tough break.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.